Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Friday! Yay! Today is June 28th, 2024. Hope you're doing well. I am doing amazing. It's nice and cool today. I know because I didn't have to turn on my air all day long. And if you can get through the hottest parts of the day, then I know I'm Gucci through the rest, which means a peaceful, cool night. But it really has been nice all day, a nice breeze, even at the warmest points. And I'm grateful for that. Sun's still shining and all. I'm grateful. So let's see what message we got today. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet and simple. But let's see. No promises. Hey, 6 of Wands, victory and success on the horizon. Well, actually already achieved and moving forward in that energy, having more. I read it as having even more victory and success to look forward to ahead of you because of some great feat you overcame or challenge you met in the past. This is also rewards and recognition, being well supported in your passionate endeavors. That could look like having a great following, a great customer base, acknowledgement for your talents and gifts and achievements, praise and approval in some way, shape, or form, being uplifted in some way. Not uplifted, what's the word I would want to use? It is actually, as she is on a high horse, or he, it actually is a he, but sometimes I see it as a she, but this one is kind of like, it could be either one. So congratulations, if that's the case. No, this is giving me somebody a little bit salty to watch you move on in victory. That's what that's feeling like. It doesn't feel like why. You couldn't even find your way to a 6 of Wands in this energy here at the 9 of Wands. It wouldn't be that quick of a turnaround. Or would it? No. No. Oh, you know what it is? Somebody is mad about this. Yeah, here's the Watcher. Is there something here? Oh, I thought it was another card. Here's the observation here. This is the energetic response because of an accelerated advancement. That's what it is. It's provoked some disdain or Nine of Wands, it just always look hella agitated to me. Like somebody that's just not quite content with where they are in life at the moment. And who knows what could have been incurred, but whatever it is, it doesn't have someone in a favorable position of, it's disempowered, is what it feels like to me. Even though to get to the 9 of Wands, you would have had to actually, come through most of the suits to this point where you're at the end, almost the completion of a cycle. But in this energy is someone that feels more burdened than they do blissed. Usually how I feel about it is somebody that's still that still feels challenged to accept their circumstances and or their creativity of them. So even if, like as a wounded warrior is, even if you've incurred a great deal of unfavorable events or circumstances, there's still some level of acceptance or some level of accountability there, no matter what it is, you know, or just at least now accepting responsibility for how you get to move forward, if nothing else. Because of course sometimes we can be put in situations that we may or may not have total control over. But now it's like, all right, what can be done at this point? How can we move forward? How, you know, and then seeing other people move forward, perhaps having both come from, well, no, because this is feeling like, it's like how I just came from the 8 of Wands, and I'm, you know, and I'm here at the 9, watching somebody at the 6 accelerate, almost looking like they're doing better than this person. Somebody feels very, I don't know, like they may feel a bit entitled or just feeling really agitated at the sight of people that were perhaps at a lesser position of progress now advancing in ways that they're not, or doing well, maybe even being recognized. As I said, all those wonderful things about the 6 of Wands. It's like, how are you getting recognized for something I've been doing? You know what I mean? But hey, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And it, again, someone that's not willing to consider that maybe they weren't, that maybe there is no point of comparison here. And that in itself could be the pitfall as to why someone is dissatisfied. It could even be somebody that is at exactly the same point of position in progress as someone else, but doesn't feel empowered by it because they feel like they deserve it more, or that somebody deserves it less. There's some disparity here with all this wand energy, the 8, the 6, the 9, that somebody feels like they should have the advantage, or they're just mad because they don't, you know, or yeah, mad or agitated, whatever the case may be. And they're having to watch. It's like they're witnessing the advance, people advance before them or beyond them. And they feel like they've done more than enough to have earned the privilege of at least that same advancement, if not more. But I feel like it's competitive though. It feels like somebody really doesn't like that there is a disparity between progress that they're observing, which with the Knight of, yeah, and they better relax, lay that mentality to rest before they, you know, ultimately wear themselves out, you know, because that's not going to advance a 9 of Wands any further. It's like almost keeping somebody stuck in a cycle where they could be on their way to the end of it, the completion of it at the 10, but here they are at the 9, still looking back or looking around or looking outside of themselves, you know, comparing, contrasting, taking notes, you know, trying to figure out a way, I don't know, because it's very action oriented. So I feel like it's not just limited to somebody observing and even just being in their mind. It's like considering a point of action or response, reaction. With the King of Cups here. Wow. So somebody wants to get over on a King of Cups? So somebody's jealous of a King of Cups. here it is, the point of comparison again. It's, see, now here he's surrounded by all this sword energy. It's like somebody is envious and maybe a bit vindictive toward someone that has mastered their emotional nature, that is in charge of their impulses, their even that may even be well guarded from outside influences. That's what I'm getting. Like somebody really doesn't appreciate that. Maybe because they don't feel they possess that manner of discipline, or just not discipline, maybe like a balance, maybe groundedness, security, emotional security. Someone could have been quite impulsive, which is why they're in the Nine of Wands now. And here, with this intention to react in a deceptive way, no wonder, maybe even with ambitions to lay this King of Wands to rest. Like cause the King of Cups some type of trauma. So somebody kind of looking to see, back to this, like observing someone's weakness, like trying to find a weak spot or a vulnerability that they can exploit or attack. Like how can I enrage this person? How can I knock them off balance, or maybe even make them depressed with the King of Cups? That would be the adverse effect of the King of Cups. Somebody to be, to be completely drowned in their emotions and have like really no control or balance within them, or no acceptance of them. Regret, shame, guilt. Think Five of Cups energy is what I'm feeling. Like somebody having the ambition to bring someone who's in a pretty stable and secure place emotionally down to size by more than half, to like the Five of Cups, where somebody is just sad, depressed, hopeless, in despair, unstable, insecure, like all of that. That's crazy. And in this case, if we're going to keep it ambiguous, it could absolutely just be, it doesn't have to be for sure a king. It could even be a feminine energy that is highly evolved in their, how do I say it? Like, because feminine is more passive, masculine is a bit more like more assertive nature of like highly emotionally intelligent and assertive with it, not just passive or receptive as much as they are actually, they put it to work for them in some way, shape, or form. Okay, what's this? Yeah, see, here's the intention with the Seven of Cups. To have someone feel, whether it be masculine or feminine, to knock someone down from the confidence of their emotional intelligence, the security of their emotional intelligence, make them feel feel delusional, feel imbalanced, confused, again, like untrustworthy of what they sense and feel, when the King of Cups definitely leads with their emotional sensibility. Make them feel untrustworthy with themselves, or even to project an inner, like a narrative of untrustworthiness about the King of Cups. that others, that project away in a way that would make other people feel like you can't trust them, or they're unstable, or they're, what the very opposite of what they actually are, pretty much. So, like I said, somebody's just jealous, envious about the points of comparison that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Because with all this wand energy, it's like someone has a power all their own. So why are you worried about what the King of Cups has? That's not your wheelhouse. Use your force. Use your fire. Just as powerful, if not more so in some ways and shapes and forms. And it could even be that somebody is not in an energy such as this, especially with the Seven of Swords. It's not just the matter of, okay, well, I'm thriving too. It's like, no, but I don't want you to thrive. I don't want anyone else to be recognized for their power, because that creates too much of a competition for my own comfort with my own power. Even if there really is no competition, it's all in somebody's head, pretty much, with the Nine of Wands. It's all in their head. Exactly. It's like they're not accepting of they're not even listening to their own intuition, worrying about somebody else's at that. That's what this Four of Cups is. Accepting the very essence of them, however, that gets to be, because they rather have it some other way. Missing opportunities to advance, perhaps even in some way, shape, and form, in the same way that they idolize and are jealous of, but because they're not internalizing this acceptance for themselves and what they are powerful in, or how they are powerful, it's like somebody's missing the mark altogether, and perhaps missing opportunities. Wow, the Star. That's it. Somebody just wants to be the star, and they want to be the only star. Anybody that would even dare, any of these little stars here that would even dare compare or present themselves to be a co-star, let alone competition. This feels like somebody that is just like competitive to, I don't know, like maybe psychotically competitive. What is that? Is there a term for that? That I don't know, besides, being a bit narcissistic to some point, but it feels like something specific. Like, no, I gotta be the only one. They may never even really express that, but deep down in their soul and in the corners of their mind, it's like where the opportunity to be fair may present itself, to kind of like simmer down, spirit maybe even what's the right word, like showering this person with compliments of their own, like, but you do this well. And like I said, they may even have their own praise, their own acknowledgement, their own rewards, their own platform where they are highly respected. But I don't know what that is. where somebody just, they're obsessed with being the absolute best, the one and only, so much so that it completely absorbs, I would say absorbs their raw creativity, because they spend more time secretly activated by their competition, and provoked by competition as a threat, than they do in actually doing what they do well, which is what, ironically, is actually keeping them from being a bigger star than they actually are. Go figure. But it's like somebody can't help themselves. It feels psychologically distorted. Yeah. And what did I say about the Five of Cups? That's how they feel about themselves. You know why? It's like somebody has a really, really low self-esteem, and they mask it by their accomplishments. It's the only thing that makes them feel like they're worth anything, is what power and what prominence they can project, so that it's so delicate that it can easily be bruised, or just completely distorted. It's literally like somebody that can have so much going for themselves, but as soon as they see whomever they identify, because maybe it's not everybody, but whomever they identify as direct competition or threat, or someone that they may even admire. That's the real messed up part, is it could be that too, that somebody is almost admirable of the traits and the attributes that someone else, and achievements that someone else possesses, but their mind just goes into obsessive mode. I don't know, it's weird. Like I said with the King of Cups, it's like you'd be the King of Wands by now if you weren't worrying about what a King of Cups is doing. Y'all on two different stages. But it's somebody that really takes it, it's deep though. It's deeper than they would ever say, and it's deeper than they probably would ever let on in the public eye. Like, this is somebody that may even come off like they're so confident, they're so secure, they want everybody to thrive, they love to see other people do well. They may even shape their profession around some type of engagement that would involve them in other people's success, just to somehow either monitor it and or really kind of almost be like a trickster energy to create resistance. It could be like, that celebrity that's just fake and phony, and it's like keeping their enemies, who they have identified as their enemies, super close to all, staying in the know or staying in the popular circles to kind of keep a thumb on pulse on what everybody's got going on. And this is somebody that would be obsessive enough to activate some sabotage or interference or something, or even just to talk about somebody, because that's just as harmful as anything else sometimes. With that Seven of Swords, it really there's no real limitation to what somebody would do to try to satisfy what is ultimately insatiable, their low self-esteem. Nothing on the outside, no one, no place, no achievement, no money, no accomplishment, no praise, no accolades, nothing could ever satisfy a person in this energy. Because the one thing, which is divine love and self-love, that is all is holistically satisfying is the one thing that they reject the most. Somebody don't even want to hear that. Like, please, yeah, look at this. Entitled, rageful, vengeful. That's what I was saying. Like, this is somebody that would actually do something, say something. You know, it could, you know, ooh, I just got that too. Somebody that would even like put in a bad word of reference against their competitor, or say something to really make somebody look like they're unqualified, or to tarnish their reputation, or tarnish their credibility in some way. That's definitely in line with that spread, the part with the King of Cups. Somebody's insanely jealous, and it's tearing them apart. It's literally tearing them apart. The Lover's card. Yeah, they don't want to see no unity. That's not. And they might act like they do. They may even, like I said, they get in relationships or become friends or partners with people, only with individuals that do have something of value that they would desire or admire or even want to emulate, if not altogether steal or siphon. But they're not willing to cultivate this frequency within themselves. That's too much like right. Queen of Swords. I just heard somebody's a bitch. But in the upright, of course, it's not limited to, it's not even really that in the upright with the Queen of Swords, but that's just what I heard. Masculine or feminine, somebody is bitch made. I'm sorry, I can't even. I would try to spin that up, but I don't think I'm supposed to. Don't keep on going. I'm sorry, not the Two of anything. Page of Pentacles. Small offer. I just really feel like it's someone's distorted perspective of themselves, that they've never, maybe since a child, been clear on their personal value. And hell, who has, really, if we can all be honest, literally. But there may have been some really foundational infractions here that taught someone at a young age to measure themselves by what they could achieve, what they could accomplish, even maybe want an approval or acceptance from their family or their peers for what they do, how talented they are, how much they shine, you know what I mean? Like you are taught to live in that frequency before it comes natural to you, whether it be by society, your surroundings, your upbringing, it's learned behavior to measure yourself by some fabricated gold standard is what I'm seeing here, not by truly what's within you. some distortion happened at some point. Ooh, the Hierophant. That's society right there. Authority. Even this is almost like an offering unto the Hierophant. Yeah. Like that's all you good for is it feels weird. Like somebody was taken advantage of at a foundational level by people, or by so either someone was taken advantage of by authority, or by energies that they should have been able to trust or look up to, or just maybe even misguided, perhaps, like I'm saying. And that could be universal, as we know with the card like this, us all being misled as to what the value of our essence is truly worth and how it should be dispersed, usually not for our own good and growth, more so as literally an offering or a sacrifice unto the machine of society as we know it, or creation from the fabricated mechanism of it all that we know it. But it's given something a little bit more intimate than that, I feel. Like a devaluation of someone's core values at a fundamental stage because of an experience. Maybe even because of some indoctrination. Well, clearly, even as I'm saying it, about what they're worth and what they're not worth. Indoctrination of of shame, of worthlessness, indoctrination of there's something with that here, especially with the Five of Cups, and this is what it has become. This is why somebody's so resistant to this so-called ideal of love, especially one that they can't touch and see. It's like, if I can't spend it, if I can't, acquire it, then I don't even want to hear about that. Because where they may have submitted their themselves to ideals of a particular indoctrination, they were sorely misguided and mismanaged. It could be like practically speaking, and of course not for everybody, but such intense energy such as this could even be like somebody being taken advantage of by a teacher, or a clergyman or a preacher or something like that. Someone that they looked up to, they reverenced as trustworthy, and it just completely destroyed their self-worth. But it's somebody that never really healed from that. They found other ways to exalt themselves, despite that memory and that trauma. They found other ways to more or less like soothe their psychological woundings that are indisputable, because this is what you can actually show. You have to show for yourself. So you automatically acquiring praise and attention, you know, but the root of why it matters so much for someone to absorb every bit of it that they possibly can is something much more deep and sinister that would need to be addressed, if willing to be addressed, before this person is ever going to really achieve success that is sustainable and satisfying. Success in a way that would keep them from wanting to harm others. I don't know. It seems so specific that I don't know. I know it's not simply that. It's grander than that too, but reverse. Let's see. Wow. Again, this came out earlier. Somebody is not restful in the mind. They haven't been for a long time. They're very restless. This is certainly, you know, damn, honestly, I don't think I've ever had the Four of Swords in reverse, but this is somebody that is having a great deal of trouble finding peace, acceptance, rest, rejuvenation. Like they may not be able to sleep at night. Their trauma, it seems like, and this is probably happening a lot now that I'm thinking about it. This might be a wave. It seems like the traumas that people have buried deeply and have done a good job doing so, you know, for the most part, like I said, at least from the outside in, are now surfacing in ways that can no longer be suppressed. It's like you must face who you are and why you are, or it'll like damn near haunt you. That's what this is more universally. At what point was there an infraction to your organic being and who you were ultimately designed to become as a divine being in the Lover's card, but by your own choosing? Where was the infraction? What was it that compelled this rejection here? What incited it, and what compelled someone to be rejecting of their natural essence, their spiritual being? This is somebody that couldn't sleep on it if they tried. It keeps them up at night. They can hardly rest during the day in their waking life, you know, peacefully going about the day. It's coming to a point where it can't really just be glazed over or tucked under the psychological surface anymore. It may be coming to a point where now it's more on display, where they kind of had it together. And it may also be circumstantial on account of the actions that somebody took to satisfy this void in their life are now being exposed. So it's happening on both ends, where the persona that's been projected is faltering because people are starting to see the man behind the mask or woman behind the mask. But also internally, there's a bit of like an implosion that's happening, where somebody, I mean, obviously, if you can't satisfy yourself with those things that are fleeting anymore, it induces what was already there, and you're also not well equipped to really manage. That's the jealousy of the King of Cups, because someone's not well equipped to handle this influx of emotional energy, because they've been used to not feeling much or supplementing those feelings with other things. That's what it is. So it causes somebody to be really, really like, almost like violently, venomously at least, envious of someone else's poise with their emotions, to be able to just kind of handle whatever the wave may be, to go with the flow, to feel your feelings, don't allow yourself to be, don't, not to reject them, but to also don't to not be consumed by them. It's like somebody rejected the training and the facility that would allow them to do that now at a time when it matters most, because it seems like everything is rushing in like a wave, and there's no life jacket, there's no boat, there's no lifeguard on duty. It's like somebody's having, I seen this, how sometimes they say like one added list of fears, or one thing added to your list of fears, and not literally, because I still do love the beach for what it's worth. But I never knew much about riptides until I recently saw this story about actually a New Jersey couple that went to Florida on vacation with both of their sets of kids. They each had 3 kids, and they got swept away in a riptide, and it carried them out. They panicked instead of doing what you're supposed to do, which apparently people that really frequent beaches and live like shore lives like Florida and stuff like that, you're kind of like primed to know how to respond to a riptide. They were swimmers, but with riptides, it's like you can't swim against it. You kind of have to go with it, allow it to carry you as far as it decides to. And if anything, the instruction is to swim parallel to the shoreline until ultimately you can swim out of it, because it's like this force of water. I don't know how to explain it really, even though I watch stuff about it, but it's like the force of water and this undercurrent, so to speak, that you may not even see coming if you're not paying attention. There are signs, like if there's a particular still spot in the water where everything else is foamy, that could be an indication of a riptide that's forming, or that, something to be cautious of. Just FYI, since it is summer and people are vacating. But it was something new that I learned, and what drew me in was the fact that it was a New Jersey couple, and I'm like, what's a riptide? Hell, do I need to be, do I need to be educated? And apparently I do, with my Scorpio sun who loves the water. So yeah, so they got carried out and they fought against it, and it took them under, it took them down. Now, luckily they weren't too far out before the kids alerted authorities. That was the other thing. There was no lifeguard on duty. So the kids had to call 911, and authorities were able to retrieve their bodies before they just, got carried further out to need to be searched for, but they had already drowned, unfortunately, at that point. And I feel like there's some synergy. I hope not for anybody or everybody that's listening, but in terms of those that have kind of allowed themselves to keep, that have either kept themselves from excavating those deep, dark, emotional waters, those psychological waters. They stayed away from it, or explored it for all the wrong ways, even exploited it in all the wrong ways, but never got to the bottom, the ocean floor, so to speak. And now it's like some people that can't swim or don't know the proper procedure and response of when you're going through something emotionally, to transmute that energy, to to alchemize your circumstances. It's like that somebody has never allowed themselves to truly learn that because they were always too busy looking everywhere else but inside. And that's just not for one person. That's look at this, the Ten of Swords. That's for a lot of people. The struggle is going to be real for some people, emotionally and psychologically. Maybe that have never really had to go through much because they found other like sinister ways to supplement their circumstances, maybe even at the casualty of others. But more so it's about not tending to yourself properly at this point. The other stuff that you may have done as a reactionary response is almost secondary, because if you had cultivated the proper training internally to deal with whatever come what may, you wouldn't even have taken those steps in the first place, but you would even still at least know how to shift, to go with the current, to go with the flow. But some people don't have any of that going for themselves right now, and they feel underwater, or they will, unfortunately. Oh, damn, spiritual gel? Damn. How do we get this energy today? Yesterday was a vibe. For what it was worth. Yeah, like in their head. But look, because they still not getting it. Maybe still even looking to be saved outside of themselves, or to find some point of relief. Meanwhile, they're a prisoner of their own mind, or actually a prisoner. I hope that that's not what I'm sensing is the result of people not being well balanced. Damn, like some it might be a rise in, if it even can be, because I don't even know, but I just heard like mental institutionalization. That's what this spiritual imprisonment card is feeling like to me. It may, because the sensitivity of the circumstances that some may be faced with at this time may be, overwhelming, ultimately, is the best way to say it. And like I said, with no training, not knowing what to do when that wave hits, when that riptide occurs, or when you find yourself in it, it could, back to here, it could provoke you to do some really irrational things for self-preservation, or just out of rage and anger. Just in the fit of rage. But ultimately, that energy is more or less going to be more self-destructive and captivating than it actually is aggressive to any projected target. It's like somebody will be looking far and wide, just wanting to find somebody to, to unleash their anger, or unleash their discontentment, or whatever. Like, finding company for their misery, and it won't be none in sight. It won't be none in sight, because this is a season where everyone has to be clear of where they stand individually unto self and unto the divine. The Lover's card is a great depiction of that. This is the calling too. Anything less than, yeah, it's definitely going to be I don't even know, maybe psychologically triggering. Yeah, something like that. It's kind of on the side. Let's see. Oh, that's back out. Well, confirmation on that people won't be able to escape the pressure that they ultimately created for themselves, which is why I was probably spending so much time on this accountability here, because you can't, it's nobody else's problem. Even the worst of our childhood experiences, the worst the worst that you could possibly say you've encountered and endured at any level, childhood to now, it's still up to you how you're going to carry that burden or not. Unfortunately, it's a shame, but it just is, because nobody's going to come lighten the load for you. Nobody. Sometimes even the apologies that you've always thought you wanted don't make the load any lighter. Sometimes the explanation you always thought you needed don't make things any easier to bear, until you decide that this is not my cross anymore, and that you're going to release that stress, that burden, and surrender to a much lighter, literally a lighter expression of yourself, and begin to embrace your authenticity, even the part of your story that isn't all that, all that happy or all that positive. Yeah, this is finding satisfaction back to your spiritual nature, being fulfilled in this way. Purely, though, of course. This is a good energy of wish fulfillment, not off of the demise of others, or how much better you are, how much more advanced, or how much more money, or what better awards and positions of power you've attained. And no point of comparison, just somebody being pleased with not only what they've accomplished, but how they've accomplished. And more so, the being of which they have accomplished, which is preliminary to everything else. And paramount, if you don't have a dime, or or a good job or whatever, who are you when you wake up, when you go to bed, or a so-called good job? But you know what I mean? Like, if you don't have any of those standardized measures of success, as they're so called, are you still pleased with who you are in the mirror? Are you pleased with how you wake up and brush your teeth and wash your ass and get dressed in the morning? Or are you pleased with how you treat your neighbors, how you respect people that you don't even know, how you take care of your family, how you earn your livelihood doing whatever you do? You know, like all of that is more so about the energy that you pronounce in every waking moment that you're gifted to have. That's what matters. Not the things. Hell, not even really the people. And this was a little sideways too, but enough that it could be upright if need be. The Knight of Wands. Yeah, but this is again, this is the ambition with the Knight of Wands. This power dynamic, achieving this power, like the greatest power of all, not just the King of Wands. Oh no, I want the Ace of Wands. And there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. But again, back to the Nine of Cups, how are you willing to pursue that, achieve that? The Knight, y'all know how I feel about the Knights. There can always be a bit of an ulterior motive there, particularly with the Knight of Cups, who's a bit of a finesser to get what he wants or desires. And sometimes in the highest frequency, there could be an actual offering of love, but usually not without some expectation of a return, something in it for them. And in this case, it's like the Knight of Cups offering, you know, making this proposition for something that is far greater than what they're even willing to submit to, or what they're willing to give. Once again, it's imbalance. Somebody wanting to receive way more than either what they're available for, truly, what they're capable to handle, or what they are, you know, what they have positive intentions for, or pure, I should say, more pure intentions for. This is almost being seduced by power, or the idea of power in its most, I don't know, like it's most, in its mightiest form, you know, like I don't know how best to say that, but it's like, what have you done as the king, as the Knight of Cups, certainly not the king, but the Knight of Cups, to earn access to this? Are you willing to do anything? At least honorably, even if it is a mismatch in measure. Most things that we petition for in the divine kind of are, at least to our knowledge. But this is about somebody that knows that they're not privileged to this level of power. They may not even be trustworthy with it, but they would, again, activate those frequencies of deception and manipulation to figure out a way to have it anyway. Still not getting it. And that could be, as I said, like people that are really drowning in their sorrows to some degree, maybe finding a way through the pressure to clean up, to try to, like, you know, operate in that old energy, you know, to get it how they lived once upon a time, will be ultimately finding themselves worse off than they've started. I would venture to say, but let's see what the last card is. Nice clean flip if I can get it. Oh. Getting exactly what they deserve, whatever that is. getting whatever it is that they ordered, for sure. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what I can say. So not to project anything undeserving onto anyone. It's like the exact energy that you petition the universe with is exactly what it's going to return. That's fair. So that's why it's so important, it's urgent for, or at least an urgence for those to really spend your energy, cultivating yourself as supreme in spirit and in truth by spiritual measures before anything else. Because if this is the offering, this is the proposition, and it's all that I just said, where it's not holistically pure, it's still a bit, there's some ulterior motive at least, and it's still maybe a bit, I don't know, like seductive, or what's the right word for the energy in the Knight of Cups like that? Seductive, yeah, but something else where someone is can't hear it. I can't hear it. I want to hear it so bad. It'd be the pressure though of that radio silence a lot of times, where it's like, I would love to sit here. I'll get the word, but I don't want to be on here for 5 minutes in silence trying to think of this word. But it's like, I mean, it is manipulative for sure, but there's something more specific to water energy, emotions, and the psyche that I want to say. But I guess we can just say manipulative, and the last thing that you want to do is be trying to manipulate the universe in a way that is not, that you just can't stand on, that you literally can't back up. It's even down to, like, say this energy is manipulating the universe for this so-called power and authority and might and like all, this divine creativity. You might actually get it and it drive you crazy because you have no facility to conduct it. That's also what this is. It's like literally answering to, like, oh, you want this? Oh, okay. All right, well, here you go. But you're not even prepared to deal with the karma, the process of producing a being that can really conduct the level of power that you're calling in. And I hear that mystically as well too, which is probably a lot why people that have been doing so much energy manipulation and magic and spells and, just really trying to have their way with destiny here, which is what this actually is kind of spelling out now that I'm saying it. They're calling in something, insisting on obtaining something, apprehending a gift, a talent, a power, an ability, a fortune that their pockets are too small to carry. It's Page of Pentacles here. You would have had to cultivate the being that can truly operate in the power of the divine. And so many people, particularly that have tried to take the shortcuts, and to be cutthroat to get it without the work, without the devotion to the process of evolving naturally into that. And now it's like it's coming in like a flood, like a rip current. Wow. And it's sweeping people off their feet, carrying them out to horizons that they have no bearings to navigate. No swimming skills, no life safety procedures or measures, no protection with the lifeguard, no boat, no way of transporting themselves safely. It's like, and all the people from the shore, all they can do is just watch. Ooh, that's part of it too. All they can do is just watch you flounder, watch you struggle, because you summoned more than what you were authorized and actualized to handle. That's what it is. So that in the end, this is everybody getting their shit, good, bad, or indifferent. You asked for it, now you got it. What you gonna do with it, or more importantly, what's it gonna do with you? Wow. King of Swords. It was the Queen of Swords before, when I said this is somebody that's bitch made. Let me see what's on the bottom. Wow, the Chariot card, and look what's at the core of it. Floundering. The Knight of Swords. And this is like the lifeguard that's just kind of it's like, well, by the time they get there, on account of the actions somebody would be willing to take, it'd already be too late, because this is somebody literally just like resisting, struggling, fighting against the wind, against the current. Perhaps to get back to this ideal of themselves that it's like, did it ever really even truly exist? Is this even who you are? Because we started off with hella wands. So it's like somebody still, or energy still fighting to get back to an identity that is still not the truth. It may be the truth that they have now cultivated themselves to believe, or conditioned, I should say, themselves to believe at this point, but it's not the whole truth of them. And the way forward and truly secure and protected is over here with the Chariot. He's moving in the opposite direction. Like I said, that couple, they were fighting the water, fighting the elements, and by the time help got to them, it was already too late. Nobody is savable in this cosmic current as it is now. You have got to save yourself, and you do that by staying in integrity with the elements, not fighting against them, not fighting against fate and destiny for yourself or for anyone else, or against anyone else. There has to be a co-creative submission now, or you want to go under. And in some ways, thank God that couple was able to be found. But for some, you may never be seen again. Keep it up. And you know how the ocean get down. Swallow you whole, and to the point where it's like, well, we searched as far and wide as we could, but, and that could translate emotionally, you know, that people really need to start to be more objective and honest with themselves, with truly in the King of Swords energy, because, and maybe even to say, I need some help, I need some support, you know, rightfully so. I don't know why I'm trying to make this fit, but I just feel like it's worth exhibiting this Knight of Swords. But maybe, you know, it's necessary to start to employ those lifeguards into action before it's too late. So, all right, well, I probably am not even talking to you. So you just keep your head above water. But just know that I guess the way that it definitely applies to us all is because, like I always say, we're sharing this space together, and you never know who you're encountering, whether you know them or knew them or don't. People could be dealing with a whole range of emotions internally that they don't know how to navigate at all. So just, you know, be graceful and be kind and be protective of your energetic force field. But, you know, like I'm often trying to coach my son with his raw Scorpio energy to learn now not to be so reactive and responsive. You know, he's a good kid, but sometimes in the expression of what he would do in certain circumstances, I'm like, okay, let me reel it back. Like, okay, son, that may be the way of the world, but let me teach you the way of the spirit, okay? Because although that might be fair, because he's a Scorpion sun and, like me, Libra moon and rising. So it's like intensity in his ideals of justice and judgment is how I perceive it, and based off of his energy. And sometimes the response that seems just and seems fair is just not within your jurisdiction to make. You leave it up to the universe to equalize all playing fields, all planes. And it will. We conduct that energy ourselves by our own choices. Nothing ever really flies under the radar. It all comes back to balance at some point in time, for you and or against you. So just y'all keep y'all heads up and stay on the righteous path, whatever that means to you. You know, devoted to your own integrity, as the Lover's energy card depicts, in the most supreme frequency or highest self, as it's like to be said. Either way, I definitely pray the best for all overall, and definitely wish nothing but good fortune for us all universally, you know, whether we assume it now or holding the space of grace for those that are still finding their way, whatever it may be. I pray that we all collectively get there at some point in time. So yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.